Hey, welcome back to Pure Mind Think. I'm your host, Pure Mind, and today we're diving into something wild, something that might just shake you to your core. Imagine this, a prophecy so shocking, it claims over 3.5 billion people, nearly half the planet, could vanish from Earth by the end of this decade. Yeah, you heard that right. It's not a sci-fi movie plot. It's a vision some say comes straight from the divine. Stick with me, because we're about to unpack this story step by step, where it came from, what it means, and why it's got people talking. If you're ready to explore the unknown and maybe even find a spark of hope in the chaos, hit that like button, subscribe, and let's get started.
So, where does this all begin? Picture this. It's early 2025, and a man named Brandon Biggs, a pastor from the US with a knack for prophetic visions, steps into the spotlight. In a video that's now racked up millions of views, he drops a bombshell. He claims God spoke to him, not once, but 4 times, warning of a plague unlike anything we've seen since the Black Death of the 14th century. You know, that nightmare that wiped out half of Europe? Brandon says this new Black Death of the 21st century is coming, and it's set to hit as early as spring 2025. By the time it's done, he predicts, it'll claim half the world's population, over 4 billion lives.
Now I know what you're thinking, that sounds insane. And yeah, it does. But here's where it gets eerie. Brandon describes a vision so vivid, it's like he's watching a movie. He's standing in a medieval European village, cobblestone streets, women in long dresses, the works. Everything seems peaceful, until it's not. People's hands start turning black, rotting away from necrosis. Bodies pile up along the roads. Then, snap. He's pulled into a modern lab where scientists in white coats are tinkering with something sinister. A virus, engineered with AI, as deadly as the plague, but built from scratch. And the delivery system? Rats. Not bats like with COVID, but rats. Sneaky, fast, and everywhere.
Brandon says God told him this virus will spread like wildfire, starting in Europe, then sweeping through the Middle East, Africa, and beyond. He even saw a map turning blood red as the infection took over, with half the world, 4.7 billion people, logging out of Earth. That's the phrase he used, logging out, like we're all just avatars in some cosmic game, and someone's about to pull the plug. Chilling, right? But here's the kicker. He ties it to something happening right now. Let's jump into that next.
Okay, let's rewind to April 2024. A major story breaks out of China. Yang Xiaoming, the so-called vaccine king, gets arrested. This guy was a big deal. Back in 2020, when COVID hit, he led the team at Sinopharm that cranked out a vaccine in record time, 98 days from lab to needle. The world called it a miracle. China hailed him as a hero, but fast forward to 2024 and he's in handcuffs, charged with violating discipline and law. That's the vague catch-all phrase the Chinese government loves to use when someone's in hot water.
Why does this matter? Because people started connecting dots. See, Sinopharm's vaccine, touted as a game changer, turned out to be a dud against Omicron. Studies from Taiwan and beyond showed it barely worked, and whispers grew louder. Did Yang fake the data? Was he hiding something bigger? Some even claim the vaccine wasn't just ineffective, it was dangerous, with live viruses slipping through, infecting people instead of protecting them.
Now, tie this to Brandon's prophecy. He saw scientists creating a virus in a lab, and Yang's story has people wondering, could China be ground zero again? Think about it. COVID started there, and now, with Yang's fall, folks are asking if something else is brewing. Brandon's vision of rats carrying a plague doesn't match COVID's bats, but it does scream man-made disaster. And here's a wild thought. What if Yang's team, or someone like them, knew about this new virus ahead of time? What if they tried to whip up a vaccine fast, like they did with COVID, but botched it because the virus mutated too quickly? Delta, Omicron, those variants blindsided everyone. Could history repeat itself, only worse?
Let's dig into the science, because this isn't just a preacher's dream, it's hitting real-world nerves. Right now, in late March 2025, we're seeing weird stuff. Take H5N1, bird flu. It's been around forever, mostly killing chickens, with a 50% death rate in humans who catch it. Scary, but rare. Then, late 2024, it pops up in US dairy cows. No symptoms, just silently spreading. By January 2025, a 65-year-old in Louisiana dies from it, the first human H5N1 death in the States. Experts are stumped. Why cows? Why no warning signs?
Then there's H1N1, swine flu. It's back in China, Japan, and beyond, mutating into something nastier, turning lungs white with fibrosis. It's not the apocalypse yet, but it's got a body count. Actors, influencers, everyday folks dropping fast. And don't sleep on hantavirus, 30 to 50% fatal, spread by rat droppings. It's not contagious between humans, for now.
Here's where it gets freaky. Brandon's rats. None of these viruses spread that way, yet. But what if someone's tinkering? AI can design viruses in hours now, folding proteins like origami. Imagine a lab, maybe in China, maybe elsewhere, recombining H5N1 or hantavirus with something new, testing it on rats, then letting those rats loose. Sound paranoid? Maybe, but after COVID's murky origins, Wuhan, deleted gene sequences, US-funded research, people aren't ruling it out.
Picture this, a lab leak, intentional or not. Rats scurry into Europe's sewers. By summer 2025, hospitals overflow. Economies crash. Brandon saw empty factories, panicked hoarding. The euro and dollar tank. And the death toll? If North America loses 350 million, 58% of its 600 million people, global math hits 4.7 billion. That's not prophecy. That's a plausible worst-case scenario. But here's where the story flips. Brandon didn't just see doom. He saw hope. In his vision, God showed him people in white, glowing with light, surrounded by a shield like honey. When the virus hit them, it couldn't touch them. It just burned away. God told him these were his chosen, protected by faith. And here's the call to action. Brandon says prayer can change this future. If enough people turn to the Creator, the tide could turn.
Now, I'm not here to preach, but think about it. Science can build monsters, but it can't control them. We opened Pandora's box with biotech, AI, gene editing, you name it. Maybe faith's the one thing that can close it. Brandon's not alone. Across history, people have faced plagues with prayer and pulled through. The Black Death ended. COVID faded. Could this be our lifeline again?
Let's get real. 2025's here. H1N1's spiking, H5N1's mutating. No rat plague yet, but the pieces are on the board. What if Brandon's right? Not about every detail, but about the warning. What if we've got a shot to prepare? Not just with masks and shots, but with something deeper.
So, there you have it. The prophecy shocking the world. Over 3.5 billion could log out of Earth if this nightmare plays out. From Yang's fall in China to Brandon's visions of rats and labs, it's a story that's equal parts terrifying and thought-provoking. Here at Pure Mind Think, we're not saying it's gospel truth, but we're asking the big question. Are we on the edge of chaos? And if so, can faith in a creator pull us back?
I want to hear from you. Do you buy this prophecy? Have you seen signs, scientific or spiritual, that something's coming? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if this got your gears turning, smash that like button and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more deep dives into the wild and the unknown. Until next time, keep your mind pure and your eyes open. This is Pure Mind, signing off from Pure Mind Think. See you soon.